All right. Good morning, sir. Mr. Dooley, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number, please, sir.
Good morning. I'm Tyrone Dooley. My DOC number is 734-6. Well, I don't remember my DOC number. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
You were close. Do you know what is your fire?
734. I know 734.
What's the last four digits of your social security number?
5702.
Okay, so your DOC number is 734-638.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
It sounds familiar?
Yes, ma'am.
So do you have your parole revocation questionnaire there with you?
Yes, ma'am.
I think your number's on there too, isn't it? You see your DOC number?
Yeah, at the top of the paper. Yes,
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, you need to remember that number. But is that your signature at the bottom of that page?
Yes, ma'am.
So based on the information contained in that document, Mr. Dooley, you're not eligible for appointed counsel this morning. So are you ready to proceed this morning?
Yes, ma'am.
So we're here for a revocation decision. Let me introduce the panel to you. My name is Cheryl Renatza. Mrs. Ledoux is seated to my left. Mr. Barra is seated to my right. I'm going to read the allegations against you, Mr. Dooley, after which you'll enter a plea of guilty or not guilty. Not guilty. There's two allegations. And then Mrs. Ledoux will be asking you some questions before we make a revocation decision. Okay?
Yes,
ready?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You are accused of violating condition number 5 of your parole conditions, and it states on August 16, 2024, you were arrested by the United States Marshal Service at the New Orleans District Office and booked by the Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office for possession of a firearm by a felon. How do you plead to violating condition number 5?
Not guilty.
Okay. And the next one is condition number 10, and it states you currently owe $1,494 in supervision. So how do you plead to that violation?
Not guilty.
You said not guilty?
Oh, you say I owe that?
Yeah, I'm saying, do you plead guilty or not guilty to being behind on your supervision fees in the amount of $1,494?
Guilty.
Okay. So not guilty to number 5, guilty to number 10. Okay, Mr. Dooley, would you answer Mrs. Ledoux's questions, please, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Dooley, you were arrested by the marshal's office, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So why did they arrest you?
I was called down there to turn myself in for a homicide, and they dropped it. Like they said that my name was brought up into a homicide, but they dropped it. They dropped it after they reviewed surveillance cameras and saw that I was never on the scene and never present for that crime. So they dropped that charge, and that and for us with the gun, I was on that too, and they dismissed all the charges because they saw that I didn't have a gun in my possession. They didn't find a gun in my residence, and that I didn't have any type of knowledge with the homicide or anything else.
So you admit that you had a gun in your possession?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Okay, so where did they find the gun?
They say they found the gun at a female house.
Tell me about your relationship with the female.
The female, it was a friend I was talking to, but that's not a resident where I stay at or live there at all. That's her resident. I just talked to the female.
How long have you been talking to her?
Yes, ma'am.
How long had it been that you had been talking with her?
Probably a good 6 weeks since I've been in jail.
Prior to your arrest, how long had you been in contact with the person who had the gun? You said you were talking to this lady. How long had you been talking with her?
I was talking to her 6 weeks before I come to jail. When I come to jail, the 4 months since I've been in jail.
Okay. So while you were, let's see, so you were in somewhat of a relationship with her, so you probably knew she had a gun.
No, ma'am. Because before I started talking, I had stipulated that, like, because I know how strict my pay is, so I had stipulated that if you do have one or if you don't, I can't be around. Like those things that I can't be around. I stipulated that. So I never had any knowledge of her having a firearm.
So, there was a witness who saw you with a gun.
That witness who saw me with a gun was that's the reason that they dropped it, because they saw that everything that witness was said and was telling them was totally a lie. Because he also said that he saw me on a crime that I was never there. Once they reviewed their cameras from their house and the next door neighbor house, they saw that I was never there. So what he was saying was not credible at all. They saw everything he was saying was totally a lie. And that's why they dropped every single charge.
Well, no, I mean, but the violation is that you have had contact with a firearm as a felon.
No, they say that from him saying that, but when they fingerprinted it and they saw that I never had any fingerprints on this gun and they don't have any camera footage or pictures saying that I had this gun, they dismissed those charges.
We don't get a parole officer report if there's not a preponderance of evidence that you have violated your condition.
Say it again. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
We don't get a report from a parole officer unless we understand that person tells us that there is evidence of you violating your conditions. I'm gonna defer to my colleagues. Mr. Barr, any questions?
Yeah, there's more stories than just the what you say about the guy was lying and other things. There's all kinds of different stories regarding that. And the police report does say that an eyewitness saw you leaving the scene of the murder with a gun in your hand. Whether or not they charge you with that or not, that doesn't change with the eyewitness saw. Also, I see you currently on for obstruction of justice. Tell me a little bit about that charge. How did you get that one and what does that one involve? What are you on supervision for now?
That was all the charges. That was all the charges that when I came to jail, when the U.S. Marshals took me into custody, those are charges that I was on, but they dismissed every single charge. I'm not on any charge. I don't have a charge besides a parole hold right now.
Well, why? Yeah, that's what I'm asking you about. Tell me about the charges that you're on parole for right now. What are they?
It was on obstruction of justice. I had three counts.
And tell me some more about that. What was that involving?
That was involved in a charge in 2013 when I went to jail for it, and I went to jail when I was 18 and I got out when I was 27 years old for a second-degree murder. And I've been home 3 years. And in the process of these 3 years, I've been working and I came back to jail so someone accused I basically covered a trail and put me on the scene of something that I have any knowledge of, don't have any knowledge of at all. And from the detectives and the police officers doing a proper investigation, they saw that I was very innocent, and they dropped them charges.
They dropped the charges while you're on parole for them right now.
Huh?
If they dropped all the charges, why are you on parole?
I did my time for that. I'm talking about for the charges that I'm in here now for.
Trying to find out a little bit about about why you're on parole right now. You have an obstruction of justice charge you're on parole for, and that's why they got a detain on you, because you did prior obstruction of justice. And I was trying to get you to tell me a little bit about that charge.
Oh, it was a charge.
The one that you did get convicted of already.
Yeah, I did. It was a second-degree murder charge, and he broke it down to obstruction of justice to non-aggravated, and I took time on it, and that's what I'm on papers for now.
That's all the questions I had.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, Mr. Dooley, I don't have any questions. We have a wealth of information that's almost 100 pages in our record, so I don't have any questions of you. I think we're prepared to vote. Mrs. Ledoux.
Yes, I have evidence, preponderance of evidence of violation of condition number 5 and 10. So my vote is to vote for revoking.
Mr. Byron?
I concur with Mr. Ledoux.
Yes, Mr. Dooley, I see evidence also that you violating condition number 5 and you pled guilty to violating condition number 10. So today, sorry, your parole is being revoked. That concludes our business in Jefferson. We are going to adjourn. It's 10:08 a.m.